All right. Well, I will get us started then. So I'll probably start with I think asking you a similar question I did on Saturday. Going into this week, 4 games left on the outside looking in. What's your message to the group heading into Saturday?
It's actually something we talked about a little bit there Tuesday. If you sort of start the season and say, all right, we got 4 games left and it's in our hands, it's in our control to make playoffs and kind of take step one of our goals. I said, would you take it? And the message is, and the response was, hell yeah. Because again, like I say, we're in control of our destiny a little bit here still. We have some good wins that sort of count in the tiebreaker side of things. So if again we can string together, you know, a bunch of good shifts, I still like our chances. We all still like our chances, and we still have that belief that we'll take care of what we need to and put ourselves in an opportunity to continue moving forward.
When your team is in a situation like they are right now, how important is the leadership core of a team to its success in kind of a situation where everybody needs to be clutch?
You know what? It's hugely important because again, it's one thing that the messaging that us as a staff and are trying to preach, but again, it's our words, right? It's what the leadership does next, where they match, what we're saying, and they echo that response word wise, but their ability to impact the game on floor. If it matches everything, it puts us in a good spot. So again, you know, I think our leadership core is probably one of the best. And again, everybody will say that, but it's one of the best in the business. You got Curtis Knight, who are wearing an A, guy that's had a lot of success, and Coatsy wearing that C for us. Again, he's the ultimate guy on our team. He's the alpha male type deal, and he keeps everybody in check. And the other A that we have is, like I say, Rylan Reese, young kid, but again, he's got reputation of putting in the work and again being an on-floor guy that's an impact player. And those are just the three guys that wear letters. We're not talking about Turner. We're not talking about Matty Gilray. We're not talking about, like right now, Hutchie in the back end for us as well, right? Like we, we got a bunch of guys who are captains on previous teams, have lots of national championships, Man Cup, Minto Cups. We have a lot of leaders that don't just wear A's. And again, if they believe in each other, we're going to be good.
And to kind of stick with that theme, your captain, Dan Coates, we talked with him before last weekend's game, and he was very open, and comfortable kind of sharing, exactly why he was out for so long and talked about his battle with long COVID. And he said the hardest part about being out was being away from the team. That was harder than the physical ailments, than the mental side. From your end as head coach, what was the hardest part about not having Dan Coates for nearly 3 months?
Well, exactly that. Again, he's the guy that we constantly point to, right? That just again, he's putting in the work off the floor, he's putting the work on the floor, and everything he does is for us. And when the one that we lean to on the most isn't there, it's we got a group really good locker room, but at the same time, when he's not there, he keeps just an extra level of accountability on our team. And it's seamless with him, right? So it's not work for him because he just does it so naturally. So not having him around was difficult at times, but again, him bouncing here and there type deal, just kept his foot and his perspective real. And it kept us as a team, like he's going to be here. And again, when he does, let's get going and be at our best when he does arrive.
Well, and I guess kind of a simple question, maybe. It's his third season here. His resume speaks for itself. But for you, why was it important that he was named the captain of this team going into December?
Again, the thing of it is again, he does everything right and he does everything like on an individual basis to benefit the team. And that's his focus is the way the team goes. And say Paulie, was our first captain here and he was of that same mindset. So I think for us and for me individually as a group, it's a guy that we don't have to worry about. And he's going to lead our team the way we expect and the way we want.
And then the last thing I have for you is, anytime I think a team sees New York Riptide on their schedule, they immediately go to Jeff Teat, their leading goal scorer, the league's leading goal scorer. But collectively, they're just ahead of you guys, and they're in a playoff position. So even though you're on the outside looking in, the margin is razor thin. What do you have to prepare the Nighthawks for when going up against Teat and the Riptide here this weekend?
Again, you said it first and foremost, Teeter. Again, the ball's in his stick more often than not on the offensive side of things, and he creates. But the thing of it is, he's a threat with ball, but he's also one of the great distributors in this game, where he finds those guys that are cutting through the seams and through the middle off ball type deal. So we got to be really cognizant of the rest of them, like 92 and 46 out there, 28. I'm not sure what number. Clark is wearing, I think it's 5. Like they got a bunch of big kids, big threats that are going to flash through the middle. They're going to flash down the wall, and if they're open, Teeter's going to find them, and never mind Sundown as well, and 68 and 9 on the other side of the ball as well. So we got our hands full. Again, Teat drives it, but offensively, defensively, we need to be bang on, because if we're going to gap, he's going to find them. They're too good to score. And again, their goaltending is playing really well. Another young, not necessarily established yet, but when he's on, and their defense plays to his strength as well. So yeah, between the restraining lines is huge key for us, especially the way we didn't do a very good job both ends of the floor last week. That's one big focus that we got this week, is between the restraining lines. We got to be 10 times better than we were last time.
Thanks, Hazer.
No problem. Thanks.
Adam, do you want to go?
Yeah, I'd love to get a couple in there. So, Coach, a couple of first of all, good to chat with you again. Uh, a couple of maybe tough ones for you, but kind of piggybacking off of what Andrew was saying. Not only with New York right now being in the playoff spots, but you look at the schedule around the NLL this weekend, Saskatchewan and Calgary playing some big games, Vancouver on the rise playing Halifax. How important is this game for you guys? Is this up to this point in the season, would you say the most important game that you guys have faced as a challenge this year?
I think, big picture wise, yeah, you're probably right, because again, there's a bunch of teams in that really clustered together, and those wins against those opponents are huge at the end of the day. And again, we've kind of put ourselves in a fairly good spot, as I said, because individually we beat Calgary, we beat Panther City, who else? We already beat Saskatchewan, so we possibly have a leg up on those guys if it comes down to it at some point. Again, lots of math if it's going to happen if we get there, right? But we're not going to worry about that. We do understand that it's about New York this week, and the only thing we can control is what we do. And New York's in front of us, so we got to be our best against them.
So I'm sure based on what you were just saying, I might not get much of an answer from you on this, but if you do look at the next 3 games coming up, if you look at how your record against teams that are currently in the playoffs, 3-6 this season, you're playing New York, then you go on the road to play Georgia and Toronto. You talked about in the locker room having this 4-game stretch and how important it is, and if the guys want to be in this position. How critical is it to, as a team, to prove to not only yourself but to the rest of the league during this 3-game stretch in particular, you can include that 4th game, to show that you are a team that is meant to be in this postseason?
And I'll split it into two, because what everybody else thinks about us, we really don't care, because for a long time we believe we are one of the forgotten ones, and one of the like I say, one of the ones that really don't move the needle very much, right? But in our locker room and in our organization, yeah, we understand what we have. We understand that, like I say, we like to prove it to ourselves, and again, we have to prove it to ourselves week in, week out. And yes, New York is here this week. They are ahead of us. Again, it's always one of those ones too where you kind of get up for it, because again, they came into this league at the very same time. So, you kind of look at it, well, they had, I guess last year we were a bit ahead of them. as far as development side of things and their own wins and losses. And right now they're a step ahead of us, and we want to prove to ourselves and maybe prove to them a little bit that, hey, we're still possibly ahead of you guys. And then moving from there, like I say, Toronto is Toronto. They're the best in this league right now, and we got to have our hands full there. And then we got a back-to-back weekend against Philly and Georgia there. That like I say, when we get there, we'll focus more on it and see where it is. But again, each week, each shift is so important to us, and we continually to ourselves want to prove to ourselves each shift that we do belong on the floor with the other teams.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Coach.
No problem. Thanks, Sam. You good, Rip?
All right, Hazer. Just want to talk a little bit about your defense. I mean, obviously you've got Coatsy back, so you got that veteran leadership. You've got some other guys that are stepping up this year. I really have loved the way that Taylor Jensen has played. I've noticed that Joe Post is more of a stay and play guy than just a face-off guy now. You obviously have the mainstays with Gilray and Reeser. Where do you think right now your defense is? Is it at full strength and kind of where you want it to be?
Yeah, like health wise, yes, we were finally there. Again, this time of year, everybody's a little bit nicked up and bruised a little bit, but that's, we're a 10 times much better spot than we were, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So yeah, we're healthy. And again, we're each time we're getting better. Again, and it starts with goaltending as well. Again, Hachi is coming around for us as well. He's making the stops. We're putting the guys in spots that's going to allow Hachi to be, at his best. And the last couple of weeks, well, again, didn't get the results. The previous weeks we did. So every season, every game is a bit of an up and down roller coaster ride. But yeah, like I say, there's improvements in our game that we always got to make on a game to game basis, especially coming off of Halifax. But I like our chances with our group, and yeah, believe in what they're doing.
Last game, I know the power play. I know you would have liked it to have been more efficient. How do you get that kind of clicking again?
Again, we had a good little film session on Tuesday at practice there. We ran through a few sets for these guys, but again, it's going to be on them and the confidence that they have, right? And that's the one thing that we talked about is, finish the play. Like if we're running something, do it with a bit of a purpose. We kind of looking back at it, allowed Halifax to disrupt us too much and just settled for some stuff that on a power play we really shouldn't do. So again, quick reminder on that. And again, at the end of the day, when we have our opportunities, we got to bury, and they understand that, and they understand the urgency of it. And again, we'll go through it again Saturday morning and highlight what New York does a little bit more. But yeah, they just need to be confident, and I believe they will be.
All right, that's it for me.
Cool.
Thanks, Mike.
No problem, Rip. Thanks.